In a surprising and unprecedented move, Sony has decided to pull the plug on Concord, its highly anticipated online multiplayer game, just 2 weeks after its release on August 23, 2024. Developed by Firewalk Studios, Concord was intended to be a major addition to Sony's portfolio of live service titles, with a focus on engaging player-versus-player (PvP) gameplay. However, the game's abrupt shutdown on September 6th has left the gaming community and industry experts questioning the viability of Sony's live service strategy. Concord's was a significant disappointment, especially considering the anticipation surrounding its release. Sony, leveraging its vast resources and marketing capabilities, had positioned Concord as a flagship title for the PlayStation 5, expected to draw in a large and engaged player base. The game was heavily promoted as a cutting-edge PvP multiplayer experience, with trailers, beta tests, and a comprehensive marketing campaign aimed at building hype and anticipation. Despite these efforts, the game fell drastically short of expectations. From the moment Concord was released, it became clear that something was amiss. Sales figures were abysmal, failing to capture even a fraction of the player base that Sony had projected. The game's player engagement metrics were equally disappointing. Many who purchased the game quickly abandoned it, citing a lack of compelling content and an overall sense of disappointment. This was a stark contrast to the excitement that Sony had attempted to generate during the pre-launch period. To date, the game only sold 25,000 copies, and at a $40 price tag, they cleared about $1 million. Critics and players alike were quick to voice their dissatisfaction with Concord. Reviews highlighted a range of issues, but the most common complaints were about the game's lack of innovative features and its failure to stand out in a crowded market of similar titles. Despite being marketed as a fresh and exciting PvP shooter, Concord struggled to differentiate itself from other games in the genre. Players described the gameplay as uninspired and derivative, offering nothing new or noteworthy that would justify its place in their gaming libraries. One of the most significant criticisms levied against Concord was that it felt rushed and incomplete. The game seemed like it had been pushed out the door before it was fully ready. There were numerous reports of technical issues, lackluster game mechanics, and poorly executed features that contributed to the sense that the game had been released in a hurry. This perception of a rushed product only exacerbated the negative reception, as players expected more from a title that had been so heavily promoted by Sony. The overall disappointment with Concord was compounded by the fact that it was Sony's first major live service title to suffer such a rapid and public failure. The game's shutdown just 2 weeks after its launch was not just a response to poor sales, but also an acknowledgement of its fundamental shortcomings. This swift decision underscored the extent to which Concord had failed to resonate with its intended audience, marking it as a significant misstep for Sony in the competitive gaming industry. All players who purchased the game were offered full refunds, a move that underscores the severity of the game's failure. This decision marks the fastest shutdown of a live service game in Sony's history and has sparked extensive debate within the gaming community. Some have likened Concord to other infamous gaming flops, noting that it might have set a new standard for failure in the industry. The rapid demise of Concord raises important questions about Sony's approach to live service games. Over the past few years, Sony has invested heavily in this area, acquiring studios and launching titles designed to generate ongoing revenue through microtransactions and regular content updates. However, Concord's failure highlights the risks associated with this strategy, particularly when games are not able to deliver compelling experiences that keep players engaged. The fallout from Concord is likely to influence Sony's future decisions in the live service space. While some hope that the company will learn from this experience and refocus on creating high-quality, story-driven games, others fear that the allure of the live service model may continue to drive risky investments in underdeveloped titles. Concord's quick rise and fall serve as a cautionary tale for the gaming industry. It underscores the importance of delivering well-rounded, polished experiences that resonate with players. As Sony navigates the aftermath of this high-profile failure, the broader industry will be watching closely to see how the company adjusts its strategy and whether it can regain its footing in the competitive live service market.